Hello, Starhawk here. I enjoyed making my Xenopurge videos enough that I think I'm gonna do one for Conquest of Elysium. I'm actually gonna have the game volume in this one, as opposed to Xenopurge. Um, Conquest of Elysium 5. There's a lot going on under the hood here. I just realized I described this game to so many people so often. I should just make a quick video about it. The graphics look pretty basic, but there's just so much going on under the hood with this game. It is, I guess you could call it a spin-off of the Dominions series. They are on Dominion 6. They kind of make these games in tandem. Dominions 4 came out, then Conquest 4. Dominions 5 came out, then Conquest 5. The Dominions games are incredibly complex strategy games. They make Civilization look like a kid's game. Almost too much going on under the hood. They're also a little more catered to like competitive multiplayer, which I am not really into. But like troop formations, synergies and combos with spells and monsters that can just break the game in ways that sometimes surprise even the devs. The magic system is insane in Dominions. This is a toned down, slightly more zoomed in version of Dominions. It is still its own game. This one's it's kind of an auto battler. You don't personally design your own like formations. The different units have a preset placement: front, mid, rear. Some of them are inclined to be in the front of the front. Some of them are inclined to be in front of the back. It's all on the characters. But when you actually get into the battles in Conquest, they follow their own logic. You don't directly control them at all, which I guess in a way makes it similar to Xenopurge in that lack of control. I guess I have a theme in the games I like. There are like, I don't remember exactly how many, but there's like 10 different planes of existence in this game, and you almost never need to go to any of them. Maybe climb a beanstalk to go to the clouds to fight a cloud lord, or go underground through a pit to fight a pale one. But you don't ever need to go to the other planes, and there's a lot of them: Hell, Hades, Heaven, the primal planes, the elemental planes, the void. All of them are there. I am going to try to avoid spoilers. One of the things I don't think people should actually read up too much on Conquest. If you want to play it competitively, sure, you can look up all the crazy strategies and everything. I do not. I play this game almost like a role-playing game, and I play it with friends. We do co-op. It's not a fair game. You can just get destroyed. Sometimes by just nature, not even by an enemy AI. 12 deer show up and just murder your commander. It's an experience, and there's so much random events and things that happen that then play off of one another, or spells, big spells that your enemies can cast or you can cast that then interact with each other in a kind of unique way. Each playthrough is very different. There's some definite like Dwarf Fortress inspiration maybe involved here. There's some similarities there. So like knowing everything that can happen isn't necessarily fun. Or it ruins a little bit of the fun for folks. So I'd usually give a pretty basic description so that you can have that sense of discovery yourself. I will say that if you get a magic shovel, just to kind of show you how the planes work, like if you climb up into the clouds and you fall off a cloud, you will fall into the overworld below, wherever that cloud happened to be hanging out over it. That's how the planes are all connected. If I summon a demon prince, if I have a really powerful demonologist and I summon a demon prince, he's in hell doing demon prince stuff, and he vanishes from hell and appears in my army, or appears to kill my army if I fail the summoning. And when he's done, when he gets beaten, he doesn't die. He appears back in hell, maybe with some more wounds or whatever. It's all incredibly interconnected. The void, there's places in the world that are thinner, and like the things in the void can cross over from there. If you summon things out of Hades, they're gone from Hades until they go back there. If you kill things, they can become ghosts in Hades, or at least that's the perception I've gotten. All of my research for this game is through experience. I have done very little looking things up online. So I could be a little wrong on things. This is just from my observations. Preamble out of the way. I generally play co-op. One cool thing about this is you can play remote play with friends, in which case you just go to start new game, which is what we're going to do. But like you would load up a game and then use the Steam remote play features so your friend doesn't actually have to buy the game to check it out. The downside with that is you have to take turns. Whereas if you both own the game, you can do a network game and you do your turns at the same time. So like what I usually do is I do the remote play to introduce someone to the game. And then after, usually part way through the first mission, they know whether it's a game they want or not. And then if they're serious about it, then we do network play because your turns go twice as fast if you can do them at the same time. For network, these I don't ever worry about. I never do personal game servers. You go to intergame lobby. It shows you all the different lobbies. Create new game. You name the game. You name the password. If you're joining a game, you click on it. You put in the password. You're done. Pretty straightforward. You can search through the filter. Oops, I just hit escape. Here's all of my games. This is my nonsense. Welcome to my nonsense. You don't need to actually look at any of it. But what we're going to do is just kind of get you started. Enormous is too big. Even the devs say they added it because people asked for it. It is gigantic. You can have 24 nations on it and still have a little bit of elbow room. Huge is about where, if I want to do a really big game, huge is where I'd do it. I kind of live in large. It still takes days, maybe weeks to beat, depending on how often you're playing. We're just going to do small. We're just going to keep it. Different ages has different effects. Agricultural ages are going to be like more, less cities, more, less cities, more hamlets and villages, lots of woods. You hit like Fallen Empire, tons of cities, Fallen Empire, tons of ruins. Different events will come in different like eras. Common Cause I use a lot. Maybe it's a little cheating or whatever. It just kind of sucks to have a game end. If you lose all of your commanders in this game, or all of your citadels, your bases where you spawn guys, either or, it's game over. With Common Cause, it's shared by the team. So if I'm playing, this has no effect in single player. But if I'm playing with an ally, which I tend to play this game co-op, if I'm playing with an ally, I turn it on. It just sucks to like have your buddy's capital get capped 20 turns in, and then both of your game to end. They can come hide in your capital, but you can leave it off if you want to. Score graphs, I don't really mess with. It's usually off. Wilder just kind of makes the neutral armies more powerful. I find the game, I'm no super pro at this game. I find the basic ones pretty good. Battle reports shuts off the automatic battles when they come up. So if you're doing co-op, I almost always do clustered, unless it's with someone who I've played a bunch of games with and we want kind of a challenge. This will have you guys spawn basically right next to one another. It has all, I think it's any teams are going to start, even AI teams are going to start next to one another. You can do where each team starts in like the cardinal directions or truly random. I enjoy truly random, but clustered's the safer and more fun bet, because then you're actually playing with the other person and not maybe watching them die across the map. This just is like how much, because the map has seasons and it has like temperate zones. You go in the south, you find deserts. You go in the north, you find like ice shelves and like Arctic stuff. This one you can like change it. I'm just leaving it default because I've never messed with that before. You can load custom maps. The mod scene for this is insane. Nothing I've touched yet. That's the basic rundown. So you hit OK. We're doing a small map. We'll leave these the same. I'm actually going to add one. Just make it a little crowded. Plus, I like this color. You can change colors, but I don't see colors right. Difficulty. Night. Like, Butler's a good one to start on. Night is kind of where I live in single player. if I'm playing with someone who's experienced and we're playing race nations that we're both comfortable with, I could do Baron. That's going to be a tough fight. It's going to be bad. That goes all the way up to Emperor, and I'm sure, and there's people who have like crazy bonkers like optimized strategies that you can find on other videos. I am a plebe who plays this mostly for fun. I want to go explore places. I don't want to just win. I don't want to just kill the AI. There's an exploration to this game that is also fun. I want to have the breathing room to be able to take an army and say, go out and explore. Your job isn't to fight the war. Your job is to see what's over that next hill. So I don't ever go over Baron. I've beaten counts to prove I could do it. I'm not going to do it again. Maybe for a video, a try-hard video someday. Single player, I usually stick with knights. You can set the individual AI's color, of course, and pick their nation. I always go random. I've played variations of the game where like I play with butlers, but they're teamed up against me and all that. You know, you can muck with this to your heart's content. I'm just going to leave it knight, individual nations, so they will be fighting one another. I like it random. You can set it so that there's not going to be like 2 necromancers randomly picked here. Each nation would be individual and unique. But sometimes, like for me, this is part of the storytelling, the natural storytelling of this randomness. If this is 2 barons and 2 senators, well, that tells a story right there. Like that there's a narrative there. If this is all dwarves, if somehow I get so lucky that these are all dwarves, lucky in quotations, I mean that also tells a story. I usually pick what I'm gonna play. I am gonna go with, like, these are all the nations, and there's a million videos out there that kind of break these down. You can find other videos on the internet that'll break these down. If this is your first time playing, just pick what sounds cool. You know, just glance through this list. If something jumps out at you, you can go look at more info. And the write-up for this stuff is bonkers. Every unit in the game gets a big long write-up like this, and it's all kind of told from the perspective of some scholar in Elysium. He has a bias. He definitely has a bias. It's a good time to read. It tells you a little bit about him. And just go through anyone that jumps out at you, grab. I'm going to go with Senator. It is my favorite nation, and it's a pretty basic one. Like, Baron is what I think most people agree is a good starting nation for folks. They run into problems like in the late game. Like a necromancer eventually becomes a lich and gets all sorts of unholy power. A baron, they get some funky stuff, but they just kind of get more of what they already had. There's exceptions to a lot of this, but the Senator is my go-to. I've played all of them. I'm currently playing the Guildmaster in my current game. They're the newest race to come out, because when they first came out with Conquest, all that came out was, I think it was Cloudlord. Was it Dryad Queen? I forget which, but like at least the Maharaja, the Raksharaja, and the Guildmaster, I know for sure, didn't come out with the base game. There is no DLC with this game. All of the updates they do with this game are free to those who buy it. Same with Dominions. No DLC. The updates are free. Whenever they have big changes to the game, they just release a new version. I'm sure Conquest of Elysium 6 is on the way. It does take them years to do this. It's still worth picking this up. It's such a good game. All right, let's just get down to it. I'm going to grab the Senator. We're going to hit OK. I'm just going to name my Senator Star Hawketicus. I don't know how Romans work. The Senator's forces are vaguely inspired by Rome. I'm bad at Rome. So it's going to take a little bit to create the world. It's all random. He's creating all the planes there if you were able to look really quick. This is my recruitment offer. So your guys have basic recruits that you have all of the time. Also, all of these nations are asymmetrical. They play totally different. So a lot of the stuff I'm saying for the Senator will not apply to the other nations. Other people have made on the internet, I'm sure. I haven't looked too closely. I'm sure there's YouTube videos that break down each of these nations. A lot of them probably are looking at it from a competitive multiplayer perspective. If that's your jam, awesome. It is not my jam. But I'm just going to kind of go over the basics that mostly holds true. You get recruitments, but every round, every turn, you also can get kind of a random special recruitment. Also, read the manual. The Conquest of Elysium actual manual. Part of the reason I don't think there is like a proper, I think there is a wiki now, but it's not great. There isn't a proper wiki or tons of information online. Is the wiki, the actual manual that comes with the game in a digital PDF is really good. So here's your screen. This is my Senator. I start with an outpost. On the bottom, you can see it's making me 2 gold per turn because the little 2 gold pieces. It's got one little shield symbol showing that it's basically a level 1 defense. More little of that gives, like, I get bonuses for defending from that spot. The little catapult shows it's a siege location. Some weapons can only be used during a siege, or they get like a special siege round before the battle starts. And the little hat means it's a citadel. This is a capital. I can spawn units there. I need one of these. If I lose one of them, if I lose all of them, it's game over. And then it tells me like a rough. It tells me how many units are there, and then roughly what kind of units are there. And then next to me is my town. You usually start with 2 or 3 spaces under your control, depending on the nation. That one, 4 gold per turn. It's got that's a little cart. It's hard to see, I assume, but that's like trade, which I'll get into in a little bit here. And that's it. Those are the things I control. My army consists of 2 commanders. I've got Starhawk. I should have named it something better than that. I've got Starhawk here, who I can right-click on, and you get the big, long, involved, super fun to read write-up, which we're not going to really go into. His stats, which if you played most RPGs or tactical games or whatever, these kind of make sense. Hit points, obvious. As opposed to damage, this is just, I'm a Senator. I only do 1 damage. My range is 1, which is basically melee. I have to be engaged. Initiative determines who goes first. Ritual Caster means I cast spells out of combat, which I'll show in a second. Strength of 3. I'm a weak little dude. 10. This kind of goes on a scale of 1 to 10 for most of these things, not all of them. Hit points are different. Humans tend towards between 5 and 8 until they get a bunch of experience, and even then they don't get much higher than that. Once you stack, I have a cold. I still have. If you've been watching my Xenopurge series, you know I have had a cold for a while. Recovering from the flu. But yeah, strength of 3, he's pretty weak. If that strength gets higher, his damage might go up. Morale determines whether they are affected by fear or other effects. Magic resistance, what you'd expect, their ability to resist magical attacks. Some magical attacks, like I don't remember for sure, like charm or some versions of charm test against magic resistance and morale. Armor is typically on a scale of 1 to 3. 1 armor is pretty good, and I think it's flat damage reduction, but you'd have to check the manual to know for sure. Armor 2 is heavy. That's good. Armor 3, usually if you're wearing Armor 3, you've got so much plate, you're going to get like a trait over here that's slowed down. I call these traits. I don't know if that's what they're called. You can right-click on anything here to see what they do. Armor, if you got 3, you're probably a slow dude. Anything over Armor 3 is bonkers. It doesn't exist. It does. But if you see something that has Armor 4, it's probably gigantic or monstrous or magically inclined. Rank back. This means that when I get into combat, this guy's going to be in the back lines. And it shows how many kills he's got. He's got his other commander here is Augustinius. He is just kind of your basic centurion Roman commander. He's got a sword. He's got a little armor. He's a tough dude. That you can right-click to do that. You select between them by left-clicking. You can see that Starhawk over here has used special powers. Sentry, like a lot of other tactical games, if you hit that, it'll stop popping up. Like, this is what you do to end turn. It also shows the season. If I hit spacebar, it puts my guys to sleep for the turn, and this is flashing, showing I have no more commanders to command. If I hit in, it cycles through my active commanders, but since these guys are sleeping, it's not. I can still click on them and make them active again. Sentry puts them to sleep for good. The Senator might end up getting put to sleep until you click on him again. The Senator might end up getting put to sleep because mainly his job is to hang out on the outpost and not die. The reason I don't want him to die is because he's got this special power, Coronation. Costs 600 gold, so a stupid pile of gold. I'm going to need a lot of income to do it. Basically what it does is if I can find the capital, and not every map has a capital, but if there's a capital here, and I can get him to it, and I pay 600 gold, he can declare himself emperor, and he gets new abilities, new stats, It's really what you want for the Senator to happen. You can't count on it. It's really cool when it does happen. So I want him to hang out there to be able to someday do that. Plus, he's useless in combat. So he's gonna. I'm gonna sentry him so he can sleep. Then there's this other command over here, transfer units, which you can use with T. So I'm gonna hit T. You can also click on transfer units up there, and this shows the armies in this space. He's not highlighted, showing that he's not there. It shows how many units are here. There are a few commands on your keyboard you can use. A selects everybody. Clicking selects one guy. Double clicking selects all the units of that type. This selected all my Velez. Shift clicking, click here, you can kind of select a section. Shift click here, select a section. The different unit types for these guys, they all look the same, don't they? Little orange guys with little orange shields. You can right click on them to get more of a description of them. Like I said, all my guys look the same. There's some minor differences that only a Senator would care about. The Velez are the cheapest. They throw a javelin, which means that it can only use it once per battle. These guys basically walk up, all throw javelins, and then go into melee. These guys do have a shield. I think most of my guys do. Shields only decrease damage from ranged attacks. Any incoming attacks, but they're especially effective against ranged attacks. They can almost completely nullify slings. But yeah, my Velez guys are my cheapest units. Hostas, I kind of use these guys as my main frontline forces. They've got a little better stats than the Velez. They've got a large shield, which reduces damage by even more. They're my meat and potatoes. The Princeps are kind of the elite forces of my guys. They do extra damage. They've also got a large shield. I think they've got better strength. So I've transferred all of them to him. I've got, looking around the map here, you've got different terrain. You can to look at the different effects here. It's the values I was telling you about before. You can look at the swamp here. You see the little feet over the swamp? That means it uses 3. Each of my guys have 3 actions. 1, 2, 3. And this shows it's going to use all 3 actions just to step into that space. You can go into movement det. So I could move Augustinus and his army here, and then move up into the swamp, even though I'm only going to have 2 movement at that point. It just means I start next turn with only 2 of these available to me. Dead forests don't have any actual effect. Some nations might have something that allows them to interact with dead forests. We are not one of them. I'm going to be bold, since it's this first turn, and I'm going to send Augustinius. Neutral creatures, these gray things, they aren't part of an army. We're blue, that's the color of our nation. These things are just kind of neutral creatures. They wander around the map. They will only ever move 1 space in a mega hex. It's kind of random. I think they might be weighted. Spiders might tend to stay in the forest. They might wander, or dead forest or whatever. They might wander into my outpost. They might wander out into the plain, but they seem to prefer these things. So there might be a weight to it. Or it's perception, and I don't know what I'm talking about. So these spiders are a threat. This turn, next turn, they could wander into my outpost and mess my day up. Some things have forest stealth or regular stealth. There could be a unit here ready to ambush my Senator and my outpost, but I need to start expanding and I need to take care of this threat, so I don't want to just hole up in my outpost. If I die, I die. So we're going to left click here. If you right click on this space, it just zooms in on the tactical map, kind of like the transfer screen. Everything here has stats. The trees have stats. The large mushrooms have stats. For the most part, they're just battlefield stuff. They're in the way. They'll be in the way of our troops. You have to work around them. But someone gets a spell that's animate tree, and it's worthless if there's no trees on the map. But in this place, it would be horrifying. Alright, moving this guy in. So this shows that there's going to be a battle after I end the turn. It also explores the map around him. It's got mountains. Not great for traveling. Good natural barrier. What else can we do here? This shows your gold income per month. This shows your iron income per month. It's called production. Oh, no, it's just iron. This shows your trade. These are the different realms. They're unknown planes. You can't view them until you don't know what they are until you get there. Right now we only have Elysium. This is to cycle through your next commanders, same as the in button. You can see down at the bottom of the screen, in is in parentheses. That shows the key command. Recruit units. You can do R to do that, or just click on it. So you will get more places to recruit up here, and I am notorious for having the wrong ones selected when I recruit. So I long right-click, hold down the right-click button on the place I want the troop. And that brings up the same screen, but it brings it up for the particular outpost you're at. This shows what resources you have that is pulling from your recruitment pool. I have one town, which increases the chance of being able to recruit mercenaries and magic items. The more of these I get, the more of the Centurion offer I got is because I have a town. The more towns I get, the more of these offers I get. If I get like a magic library, I might get wizards that want to join my cause. If I get a temple, I might get priests or something that want to join my cause. So other than the Centurion, who is a special unit, I'm not interested in having him. I already have one Centurion. These guys I always get. You'll note these two are green. That means I can recruit them, and you can only get one recruitment per location. So if I recruit, I don't have any money to do any of this, but if I recruit a Hastatus, I can't recruit anybody else. I've done my recruitment for the turn, except these guys. I should have recruited a standard. I love standards. They just give you a morale boost, and they're not bad in a fight. But yeah, I could recruit a standard and a Hastatus because they're green. Green guys can defy the one recruitment per spot rule. But I don't have any money. I will recruit a standard. So I'm going to hang out with my senator. So that's that. There's the trade menu. You can buy iron 1 for 1. With trade, you can buy, basically, I'm going to trade, this is how much, 24 iron per year for a cost of 24 gold. It's a 1 for 1 rate. If I only had 1 iron, it would be 12 iron per year. Basically, 1 iron per month. You can sell it. You can do it at overprice, but that's like not efficient money-wise. I am an iron-based people. There's other things you can trade. If you need gems, if you're people who need gems, you could trade for gems or herbs or hands of glory, which is the stuff the necromancers use. Sacrifices, which is the things, the evil people use. I'm going to buy iron because everything we use, all our good troops need iron. Speaking of years, there are 12 months in a year. We are in midsummer right now. When I hit in turn, it's going to go to late summer, and then it's going to be early fall, mid-fall, late fall. You see the trend we're doing here. Read messages. This just reads this popped up at the beginning of my turn. Battles will also appear here. Unit overview. I don't use this too often because I have my guys memorized, but it's handy. It does show you like which commanders your guys have, how much movement is used. It's a useful tool. Player overview kind of shows what you got going on here. You can see the names. This actually I haven't seen this in a long time. This tells me I know the names of some of these guys. They draw from the same pool. I know who Pebblespine is. You're not necessarily supposed to see. When I discover them, I'll see what race they are. But Pebblespine sounds like a pale one to me. We'll see. Score graphs I have disabled. I don't actually know what that does. The menu isn't important. If you hit quit... Oh, there's no more quit. Alright, cool. They got rid of that. Alright, we're just going to go forward. Attacking independence and force. We're going to slow down. I have it set to 2 times as fast. So I have no control over this. This is just kind of going without me. You got your combat things showing here. Basically, a dice roll is happening to determine whether these guys hit. And I murdered him. He didn't even get a hit on me. Another Centurion offer. I want to secure my outpost, but these things are going to put me in movement debt, so I'm not going to move through the trees. The dead forest doesn't put me in movement debt. So let's pop up here. Okay, that's a whole lot of nothing. I mean, it means I'm probably secure here. The AI doesn't really like to wander through heavy terrain unless they have a reason to. Let's gamble a little bit. I'm usually more willing to gamble at the beginning of a game. Oh, Perfect. So this is an ancient forest. You can see at the bottom there. It's got the little feet showing it's going to cost me 3 movement to move inside, and it's got that other annoying symbol there, which is a monster lair. This is going to continually spawn monsters around it in a megahex who will then wander around, causing me problems. The problem is it's guarded by harpies, who are weak little guys. That's actually not a huge problem. But they do get 2 attacks a turn, but it's very low damage. So if I was playing like goblins, the Bakemono or whatever, they're basically goblins. If I was playing a little guys with not a lot of hit points and not a lot of armor, these things could hit me twice, which would be very bad. But if they hit my big armored guys twice, that's just going to go ting-ting twice and not actually cause me any problems. So I could take this pretty handily unless there's something hidden in there. Ancient forests is where you're most likely to find things with forest stealth. I do not have a scout, so I do not know if there's something worse in there. I'm probably going to find out because I'm gutsy like that. The problem is you can't take a terrain piece without being able to collect the resource from there or having a reason to go there. I will not claim this ancient forest when I take it. That thing is just going to keep spawning monsters. I have a few tricks to get around that. Certain people, if you collect herbs or mushrooms as a resource in this game, the other nations get those sometimes, then you could just claim the spot. And once you've claimed it, once it's got your little border around it, it will stop spawning monsters. What this is telling me is I need to save money because I need to buy somebody who does get a resource out of it. Those guys are not it. So I'm just going to start banking my money. And maybe let that sit for a little bit. I'm just kind of going diagonally to go in these empty spots. So I'm not going into movement debt here. There's that boar I saw earlier. Renata. No, not the Renata. That's not what I want. I want something else. And I wouldn't have enough money for it anyways. Okay. The immediate area around my outpost is relatively safe, except for the fact that I'm going to get a lot of random animals coming after me. And a moose is now causing me problems. More just random recruitment things I can buy. If I was running if I was doing a nation... I'm just going to hop up here and kill this moose. You do kind of want to check them out. I know the stats of these things. Like, this thing's got a big pile of hit points. It's strong. It gets 2 attacks. This is actually a pretty terrifying moose, or pretty scary. If you've ever seen a real-life moose, you will acknowledge that a moose is pretty scary. It's got fast, so it can move extra quick on the battle. And it's got trample, which you're going to see in action here, so I won't bother describing it. When it hits my guys, you're going to... Oh, unless I just kill it with my javelins. He knocked my guys back. That can really suck if he knocks his way into, like, your spellcasters or non-melee guys. Serpent Acolyte isn't what I'm looking for. My immediate problem right now is to deal with this harpy. Or with this ancient forest, because it's just going to keep spawning monsters. But I don't really have a way to deal with it, and I don't have a scout. So we're just going to keep banking money. There's a scout. A wise person once told me, oh, if you get an option for a scout, always take the scout. Even if you don't need a scout right now, your scout might die, and you'll need a backup scout to replace him. Always take the scout. Scouts don't see everything. Some things are, like, invisible and require a special sight to see. Can't afford that scout. So, you've been seeing monsters just kind of wandering around the map up there, animals wandering around the map up here. This sea dog, just kind of wandering around the map. It's going to do that random one space around it movement. Sometimes it randomly just stays where it is. These guys, though, are guarding this coal mine. You can't really tell the difference. Generally, if at the beginning of a map, a unit spawns on a space, it's not going to leave that space. Brigands are kind of an exception to that, I think. You can see some brigands who will be wandering around. But I could leave this guy here, and I think I'm going to leave this guy here. I can take him. Big hit points, little bit of armor, big damage. These guys have bad sight, You want to read the traits of these things. I'm not going to go through them all because this is just kind of an overview. But you want to read the traits because you want to look over the stats before you fight something to know if you can take it on. These things miss 20% of their attacks. They're big guys, but they're used to living underground. But I want to take out the Sea Dog because I know these guys aren't going to go anywhere. I just want to minimize the amount of bad things running around me. And there was only one Sea Dog there. My army is big enough. I didn't even have to fight it. I just overran it. Holy heck. Silver Mine with Amazons, Imps, and a Hellhound guarding it, which has a cone attack that does 1 to 7 damage. I am not going to fight this guy anytime soon. And some kobolds. Take the kobolds first. Mainly because it's going to open up. It's going to explore more of the area around us. There's gallows here. No mechanical effect at all. To me, they don't actually matter to the senator in any way. To another nation, that could be an object that they covet, that they want. And I assure you it is. If you're a necromancer, gallows is pretty cool. I might take some losses here. These pale ones are pretty beefy when they hit. Yeah, they're just one-shotting a couple of my guys, getting past their armor. But this is getting me catapult, neat, but I don't care. This is getting me more gold and my own iron income, of which my nation needs a lot of. God, that silver mine is tempting, but you will just watch me die. It's got a Dark Wizard level 2 magic. He's got natural regeneration, probably because of this magic item. These are your magic item slots. You do pick up magic items. They're kind of rare, especially early on. But this guy's got a Bloodstone Amulet, which gives him regeneration. If I kill him and I wipe out this army, I will get that magic item. But this would be suicide. You'll just watch my army die. But these guys aren't going to go anywhere. They're just guarding that spot, so I don't have to worry about them causing me problems. We're just going to keep exploring. I am relatively safe here, other than like random spawns coming after my guy from the Royal Green. I should probably pop back up there. Yeah. Bumper harvest. This harvest here is exceptionally good. Income from all farms and Hoburg villages is doubled. Your income is directly based off the season. During the summer, you're making mad cash. During the winter, you're making less. And I just overran those snakes because I got a big enough army to do so. Ooh, so I'm going to go back to my special recruitment here. I've been saving up. I got 65 gold and some iron. I could get swordmen for cheap. These gladiators and Rotariuses I'll want later. They're basically like double attacks on this guy. They're just special units. This guy gets a net that'll like hold people so they can't move, and then he can stab them. But the Leo is why I'm here. This guy is a frontline trooper. He kind of runs like he's from the Sun Cult. He gets solar magic. He gets half damage from fire. He's got fire resistance 50. A natural leadership bonus, so he boosts people's morale around him. And he enables recruitment of the Princeps Solaris, which I will show you after I hire him. So now I've got this guy. He appears in my base. He gets spells. We're actually going to see some spells now. I've got Sunbeam, which is a small double damage versus undead, which is awesome. It does burst 5, so it's an AoE spell. Range 8. And it has a chance, they can negate it with magic resistance, but it has a chance to blind the enemies. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's an AoE and it can blind them. Handy. Aura of the Sun is a buff for my allies. It puts awe on them. Unfortunately, you can't see in this screen. There's no way. It's an oversight. I almost wish they had a tooltip here to show you what awe did. I think if I remember correctly, the buff it puts on people Anyone who attacks someone with awe has to make a roll, or they can't attack them. They're in awe of them. If he had more than one spells, like higher level spellcasters get more spells. If you're a level 2 spellcaster, you have 4 known spells, but you can only memorize 3 of them. So you have to pick and choose which one you're not going to use. He only gets the one, I don't get an option. The big thing from this guy is I can't do it yet. We'll show you next turn. So I'm actually going to have these guys come back and him take over. I'm going to leave... Sorry. I'm going to have him take over all these guys. I'm going to leave Augustinius here. Augustinius his fate was always going to be a gopher. His job is going to be to run troops to my front lines. You see, with the scout, it reveals the fact there's a Hamadryad here. If I'd gone in there, this thing's got 99 hit points, armor 2, and I got to fight all those harpies. It's pierce and blunt resistance, so my javelins be doing half damage. It is vulnerable to fire. Poison resistance, immobile, stationary, and it's going to spawn more harpies the longer it's here with that harpy spawn boost. It's got forest stealth, meaning it's invisible in forests. It's vulnerable to fire. So Trianius could maybe mess it up, but that would be a tough fight. And I'm going to Sentry Augustinius because he's just hanging out there right now. An Augur is cool. Dang, I was hoping maybe he needs a different spell. Sometimes you can get guys who get spells. I was hoping this guy would be able to do it, that allows you to burn forests. Because I would just come up here and burn this forest to the ground. But that's Conquest. I'm not really going to probably play too much more here. We'll see how this fight goes. You can maybe watch me wipe my guys out. I saw he had Tree Magic level 2 before, but you don't get to see their specific spells till you fight them. Sometimes it's worth sending guys to die against an enemy that's too powerful for you to take, just to see their spell list so you can build towards them. A lot of this game is looking around, scouting around, seeing what you're facing, and then building your army around it. Most of the armies have a few different paths they can go, a few different selections they can make. Barbarians can focus on Amazons and collecting herbs to like put tattoos on them. They got this whole tattoo mechanic. Or they can go a necromancy route where they're tying into their ancient ancestors and calling on ghosts and stuff. One might be more effective against a certain kind of enemy than another. Transforms into tree. I hope he does not transform my guys into trees. I think that will happen. Shooting thorns, sleep. So yeah, I might just die here. We'll see. Harpy's no problem, but he's putting my guys to sleep. Slow this down. I think I'll be fine once I get up close. Oh, that's brutal. We're going to speed this up a little bit. It turns them into trees, but I don't think it turns them into trees for long. Yeah, they're just little trees. That poison attack is the thing that's really messing me up. My Leo is the only reason I'll come out of this on top. I probably would not have done this fight until I got more guys. Because even if I win, I've now lost so many troops. I'm not going to be able to do much exploring. I'm going to be vulnerable to getting jumped by other enemies. Yeah, we took it out. But this thing's still going to be spawning. We'll just kind of keep going. I'll be playing a little faster and looser. That is something that's worth noting. Oh, hey. See, these guys have a little heart next to them? They have wounds. He's feeble-minded. His magic resistance and morale goes down. If he was magical, his magical ability would go down. He has a death wish. His rank is one step further to the front. You can see he's in the front here. This just means that if I get another row here, this guy's going to like fight to be in the front. Like this guy's, my leader is mid. He's not going to charge ahead. He's going to hang back behind the front line. This guy's wounded. He's lost an eye. Misses 10% of all attacks. Yeah, we're banged up. Dwarves. Dwarves are like ants. They're not the hardy. They're hardy, but they're not the noble things from Lord of the Rings. These things are prolific. They will just scatter throughout the land, nesting in mountains. They are awful, and if like this lady gets to a big mine in a mountain, they can start breeding up there. This is also an AI, whereas these are this is like a player that happens to be controlled by an AI, a player nation. These things will move in a megahex. That's the furthest they can move. These things follow the same rules I do. They get 3 actions. They've got special abilities. I'm gonna cut this weed out now. Do a little bit of exploring first because I've got 3 actions. It's only gonna take 1 action to move in there. So I'm just gonna search the surrounding area. Make sure he doesn't have a bunch of friends back there. Let's fight them. These 5 deers are a real threat. I do not have anything super handy to fight them. I would actually buy ballista if I had the iron for it, but I need 50. So we're just gonna grab some. It's just 5 gold short of Princess Solaris. We're gonna grab the Triarius. These guys are slow. They only get to move 2 a turn. But these guys are just here for... Oh, but I need 5 again. Damn it. Well, I guess we're going to grab some Hustatus. The meat and potatoes. Not ideal, because I only have melee units. They're going to just charge out of the keep rather than staying behind our nice safe walls if we get attacked. I prefer to have some archers back here. That way we keep the walls closed. These guys will guard the entrances while the archers shoot. But you work with what you have. Dwarves, big armor. They have crossbows, which do big damage. They are a real threat. I should be fine. But once again, just losing more guys. You'll note my AoE attack is hitting my guys. And there's just no way to avoid that. Sometimes you don't choose a spell. Alright, the deer wandered off. Sometimes you don't choose a spell because you know it's just going to mess your guys up. Disease AoEs, stay away from them. Disease only really affects you. I think it does a strength reduction in-game, but it only really affects you after combat. And ideally, you're not leaving anything alive. Oh, I didn't actually look here. This is why you always want to check. I just saw levies, and I went, levies are easy to kill. This place is full of mad cultists. Each one's a spellcaster. The thing about mad cultists, like, that's the joy of this game. These guys aren't just gonna... These guys are a weird board effect. They might not just sit in this village. They could sit there for dozens of turns, and then all of a sudden wander off and do some evil ritual somewhere. This game's got a lot of dynamic events. I might actually... Yeah, I think we're going to kill these guys, but at what cost? Yeah, you're watching me just kind of run around and cause problems. I'm being way too aggressive. Because I've been winning my fights, but... my army's been whittled down, and I can't afford more. Like a lot of these games, a lot of what you should be doing right now, just random barbarians running around, is expanding and growing your economy. I should be trying to get more stuff. And these guys are probably just spawning off of this royal green here. There were 5 deer before. The reason I think there's more deer here is if the same creature type runs into one another, they team up. This is why I need to get this guy, because this guy, by this guy existing, I have unlocked special recruitment. Like, as long as I have a Leo in my forces, I can now recruit his special guys, the Princeps Solaris. Which I'm not going to do right now, because I need a way to deal with this royal grain. The Princeps Solaris, when you're in the recruitment screen, if you long right click, you can, or if you just right click, you can look at these guys. They get fire resistance half, which is handy when the guy behind you is just throwing fire spells all of the time. It'll also be a great force to fight these the Hellhound, and the dark, well, probably not the Dark Wizard, but the Hellhound, Fiery Breath. I need that fire resistance. Yeah, 5 deer meet 5 deer. They join up to become 10 deer. More dwarves. They are a plague. Barbarians do big damage. This is probably going to suck. Now they're raging, so they do even more damage. And I'm basically done. Like, I could keep playing the game. I'm not technically defeated until I lose my last leader or my last citadel. But there's a certain... Most Conquest games don't end, in my experience, with you getting a big game over screen. They end when you look around, look at your income, look at what you got, look at what you're facing, and you go, I could play for 30 more turns to get that in-game screen, or beat my head against the wall forever. You can put this game in a basically unlosable state, but it is also in an unwinnable state. So you just kind of look at the world and you go, you know what? I resign. Thanks for watching the video. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, you know, leave them in the comments as usual or whatever. You know how YouTube works. Hope you enjoy Conquest. It is my favorite game. I don't play it all of the time. I'm coming off of like a year-ish break, year or two break of playing it. But I always come back to it. I hope you guys have a good day.